Um, oh, oh God, I was gonna sing something because I was listening to these TikToks about. Oh, I was just hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, and coming at you today with podcast number 274 with William Tay GSWBK on Bitcoin, ETH, VeVe, OMI, DEVVE, daCat, and Definiti. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello.
I spent a whole bunch on a new setup, and I'm running an old iPad because I couldn't get the sound to work. So,
damn,
another day.
That's rough. It happens. Anyway, I was about to talk. I was listening to this, to these TikToks where where kids tell their parents that like, hey, I wrote this song. Let me know what you think. But it's actually like a super popular song. And then the parents like, oh, that's so good. And then the kids are just like, this is already a song. and the parents like, why did you do that to me? I thought I was really proud of you. And it was funny.
It's actually the Lincoln Park. One of the guys from Lincoln Park, his daughter didn't know he was famous, and she was doing a guitar for a talent show for high school, and it was like reverse. She's like, Dad, what do you know about performing in front of people? And her mom showed him a video of like 80,000 people. And they're like, that's Dad? They didn't even know. So.
That's so cool. What's up, Abe? Yes, you here first. You here first, my bae. You getting that bread? Yeah, wild, absolutely wild times. I love that picture of, forget who it is. It Billy Joe? Oh no, it's definitely like Elton John. And it's, yeah. Maybe I'm tripping here because I'm only getting pictures of him in a Dodgers uniform, and I know there's one with him not in a Dodgers uniform, but I'll just do this one anyway, where it's just playing like, that's got to be so fucking cool, just playing in front of so many.
Oh yeah,
stadium full of people. I don't know, like what's the closest you ever got to that feeling of just being like, was it because you played college baseball?
I did. That's what I'm trying to think. What's the most I played in front of? Actually, probably one of the coolest experience I ever had. I was 12, and I got invited to a Colorado Rockies tryout. And everyone's like, "Oh, he's 12," and I ended up hitting like 3 home runs. So that was probably the coolest thing I've ever done. There wasn't a lot of people there, but
yeah. Right. So wait, so you hit the ball like the Rockies fence at the time? Is it like a pitcher's ballpark where it's like 400 feet to center field?
No, it was in Ohio where I am, but it was like 330, 370, 400. Yeah,
that's still really fucking far.
Yeah, I was pretty good back in the day, and then you get old, and then you're not
12 years old. That 12 years old, yeah, to have some power. Like, damn.
Yeah, I was supposed to get drafted out of high school. I was throwing 92, being a left-handed pitcher at 16, but I threw my arm out. So such is life. Was it like a blowout, or like you needed like Tommy John surgery or something? Structural damage that they could never find or show any kind of. It was gone. It was like literally like Rookie of the Year, like it was gone.
That was such a great movie. My tendons, they're too tight.
It was kind of like that. I was throwing hard one day, and the next day it was gone. I mean, it hurt. I couldn't throw for like 2 weeks. Back there after that. God, the only thing that I had similar to that, a lot of people think it was boxing because I had boxed when I was younger, but it was bowling. Like I threw first 300 when I was 15. I have like 200 279s. That's when you get like X amount of strikes, you 9 spare, and then you strike out. But I wanted to box. I wanted to be around girls. Like bowling was just not a sexy sport, is what you're saying. It was not a sexy sport. Be like, I'm the captain of the bowling team. Yeah, I remember in high school you get, usually a senior, you get like a red letter, like if you're like either the best on the team or whatever, and they usually give it to a senior. My friend Mike kind of got screwed out of one because this one kid, Nick, when he was in 10th grade, got
he was decided he's probably going to play basketball the next year because, again, a lot of girls go to the basketball games like that. So the coach gave this 10th grader a red letter, skipping my friend Mike. And so I was on the bowling team from the time I was in 7th grade. I was really good. And then so he was always salty about that. And then in my junior year, I guess the new coach wanted to be like, okay, well, the seniors, they had their stuff, so he skipped the seniors and gave the red letter to me. And I texted my friend Mike, hey, I actually just got the red letter for bowling. And he's just like, fuck you. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Copy that.
I forgot he was so salty.
It was a little wound. You opened throwing salt in there.
I did. I guess those wounds, dude. Did you know that if so I knew like I guess I never really knew what scurvy was. I knew like pirates get it, sailors get it, not a lot of
vitamin
vitamin
C or D deficiency or something like that.
Yeah, it's C deficiency. But if you don't get enough C, your skin starts falling apart by your scars first. Like your scar tissue develops first. And then that's where your skin starts ripping up. And I think I brought that up because it said old wound, but yeah, I would unravel like a ripped sweater, mostly from animals in the animal hospital. But what about you, Jim?
I never knew I knew what caused it, but I didn't know what it looked like.
Yeah, I guess your skin just starts falling off, and it starts from your scars, and then it goes from there. It's like, oh, that sounds awful. Yeah, that sounds awful. I'm so glad I'm alive, like 2026. Oh, Omar loves OMI. What's up? Good evening, Omar. Is that a Super Mario shirt I see?
Always.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
A big Super Mario fan. One day, maybe, we'll get that's like you guys were talking on Omi's My Homie about what you wanted. If we can get this Mario, Nintendo, Zelda, something like yeah. Like I was actually a big Castlevania guy too. I really like Castlevanias, but
all right.
I would love that.
Yeah, Castlevania is great. Have you seen those mods that people do where they play like a Mario game or something, but instead of it being Mario, it's just like a mod from like Castlevania or a mod from like one of those games where you have a gun and you're just shooting everyone?
No.
I have to send you some. The games just watching people play is like it's pretty fun. And then sometimes they have like instead of like playing as Mega Man, you play like as Mario and try to kill the enemy with fireballs instead of your gun, and it's challenging. Dude, some of those Mario games, they're called Kaizo, I think. I'll send you those. They're insane. It's like they were meant to never be played, and then someone a few years ago was like, I'm trying to play it. And then it's a whole speed running thing now.
Interesting. That's why I've gotten addicted to Fortnite, and they had Scooby-Doo at Halloween, and you could see Scooby-Doo running around with guns. It was just so phenomenal because I love Scooby-Doo. And like I was the battle where I was Scooby-Doo and I had the Scream Dagger, so I could change in between those people. Like I said, that was my favorite. It's just so funny to see your childhood cartoons, and they're like running around with AKs and stuff. You're like, it trips me out. Like that's one thing I don't understand, how they get that license where you take literally a child's cartoon and you give them violence personified. I'm like, how did they get that?
I mean, they probably just go to the licenses like, hey, they'll say like, let's say like Scooby-Doo is pretty popular. They'll go to them and say like, here's a license that people know, but probably not as good as Scooby-Doo. And they made X amount of money with us. And then like they just leave it at that. And then the license will be like, okay, yeah, we'll do it. I imagine they split it.
I would assume, but it's just like that's one of my favorite things. Like you run around Darth Vader, he's got a gun, and like it just cracks me up.
Yeah, I love the what's that called? The when last year they just let Darth Vader go and like let the audience and the gamers teach him like the AI, and then it's just like killed people for calling him daddy and making like a tier list of races. And I was like,
we were asking him about you honestly and see what Darth Vader had. He's like, this Randy sounds greedy with Omi. And I'm like, copy that.
Same. Yeah, that's me. There's a there's been a lot of. I think you're one of the people that saw the pattern. Like, hey, every time we get something, so does Fortnite.
Yeah. I still go back to that whole Disney documents with the partner statue in the center, and
yeah,
like, I still, like I said, I just completed my 3rd golden moment set because like I said, I don't know. Like I said, it worst case is you still have a great set. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I hear you on that. I would have I should probably I'd be a little more heavy on collectibles. Last year I thought that we were going to get that big announcement or another big announcement before 2026, and then like DEVVE, VeVe or David just said, like, listen, the market's not the right time for this. We're gonna shift. So like I'm selling a bunch of stuff, trying to get OMI, trying to get more DEVVE, and we both got a bit of that, but now it's like, okay, maybe in another 6 months. We'll see middle of the year.
I flip flop.
But that's part of why we have you on here today, is because you have your TA is filled with a lot of. Well, you've been correct. What, like 80 to 90% of the time?
Yeah, like I said, I'm getting better every day. I don't follow my own advice, because if I did, I would have like 1 billion DEVVE right now. But that's like I'm not there yet. But I like fundamental investing, and that's how I found this project. And much like Crypto Rain, I look at things and I can, like I said, a classical. I like this. It makes revenue, even though it's way undervalued. The people that run it are super successful. The people in the project, like us, Mr. MC1, Rolex, they're successful people. So, but my problem is the opportunity cost of believing that, unfortunately, has been pretty heavy with, and if I can actually learn to read the charts, I can minimize. Like I told you, like OMI, I said it was going to be between 1.7 and 2.1 in that range. And like I said, I was buying collectibles when it was at 2, because I knew I could probably buy the OMI cheaper again. So that's what I'm trying to do is learn like setups, like in like Bitcoin, like I said, I sent you the text about the 5-day or 5 EMA. Like it's a setup that you can, like I said, that's what I want to learn, is how to like just program the stuff in, and then the bot just runs it.
Yeah.
Because this setup, like I said, it's 40% successful, and the average return is 37% on it when it fires off, and the average loss is only 5. So over time, that's a hugely profitable setup. Yeah. Where, okay, DEVVE hits, OMI hits, I have this money, and I can just put it on autopilot with a proven, that's one of the reasons I really wanted to learn, like I said, and I've spent probably the last 2 months trying to learn. And like this one class I have, I'm only like 22% through it. And like the real classes that I want to get to are like, this guy's really good with options and put spread calls, like the calls put spreads or whatever. Like I haven't even got there yet, but like with AI, everything's an algorithm anyway. Trading's only going to become more number based. So if you can start learning the patterns, and if you can be successful, like even half the time, but the profit rate is so high compared to, like, it was like I was telling you, like, so Bitcoin right now, it's a great time to enter in. That 5-day, it fired off this last week, and right now Bitcoin's like 90,500. Well, the invalidation point is the low on Monday or whatever it was, that 89.3 if it closes under there. Okay. But so you only have $1,000 where you can lose, but the upside is, up to 37% on average. So yeah, that's a great setup to, it's like I told you about the leveraged XRP at 180, like where you know, everything lines up, and the invalidation for that would have been like 174, you know, and like, so you have very minimal downside. Like, that's what I'm trying to transition into.
Yeah.
Like, because I like Rain and Paul's, like, their
His Wednesday show. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and that's where I kind of would like to go, where whether I team up with you if I get good enough, or I just do it on my own, where like once a week we run and people can ask us about whatever crypto. And like Paul's super old school, and like I said, don't get me wrong, I'm no Paul. He made his living doing this. Like,
yeah, Paul's been doing this for 20 years. He's a beast.
But I have different tools that are more algorithm based from the newer traders that have a lot of value in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
there's anomaly detectors that I think I know Mano actually has that for Axion AI. I could actually give you access to that. Usually for those type of anomaly detectors, I think they're like 10 or 15K a month. But because I own like so much Definity, like I have access to it. So I could probably give you access to that and then see if that helps in any way, or see if it's worth it to you, because your tools might be different than theirs.
That's the thing, is like I just you try to get comfortable with whatever you like, you know. Like, Paul is good at what he does, where like I'm trying to move more with the Fibonacci. Like, it's amazing how many times when you set up the levels that things will hit or bounce, or there'll be, if it's range bound, it will bounce from the top to bottom, like for scalping plays. Like, it happens like right now when volatility is low, like it will happen like every day to Bitcoin. Like, I have this stuff where it gives Bitcoin's average return every day, like up and down, like it's 2% up or 1 point, and like, so it gives you a range, and like it will hit both sides like every day. Like, I just don't have, I don't trust myself enough yet to start putting money in it quite yet, but it's amazing how often that stuff hits, man.
I mean, when you're saying you don't trust yourself put money in it yet, if you're just saying like $1,000, like how many times would you have to set up these trades? Because I mean, $1,000, like I feel like is not.
Well, that's the thing on Bitcoin. You're talking $1,000 each way. So $1,000 in Bitcoin, you're making, you know, $10. So
yeah,
I mean, I guess I should do it in order to get comfortable with it. But to me, it's just like, like for $10, like, but it's crazy, like how much numbers, like people, it's amazing, Randy. Like, when you really start diving into it, you know, or just like, you know, like I told you, like at 30 cents, I'm like, Definity looks horrible. It has more chance to go down to its last low than we should sell right now and buy back when it's 20 cents. And we didn't do it. And that would have been tens of thousands of Definity, you know?
The reason why I didn't, and I think the reason why you didn't either, was because we were still expecting the big announcement to come, which would have invalidated everything. But then it didn't, and then it went down to like 15 cents the other day. You got some at 16, I think, right?
Yeah, I bought some at like, it was like 16.3 or something. I never actually really looked on like Dex Screener to see when I bought, like where I got it, but yeah, like I said, I told you, like there's a pathway to 9 cents, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and it wants to creep that way, you know. The problem is too with lower market cap stuff, it only takes one big buy to really just, you know what I mean? So it's a lot harder.
It's the same with selling though, because I in the Telegram, like I was on the phone with Tom like all morning yesterday, the day I don't know what day it is anymore, and he like it was just, he comes in and talks about like, hey guys, like yeah, we were delayed, like DevStream didn't give us they were contracted to give us a certain amount of funds, they fell through, which he wouldn't say, but I was supposed to have a deal with DevStream for some carbon credits.
All right.
And they completely ghosted me. Like, I feel like the fat redhead at the end of the bar. Like, I can't get a fucking text back. And I'm pretty sure they're like illiquid. So and they're on the NASDAQ too. So I haven't checked their stock in a while, but if I were to short anything, what the heck is Yahoo Finance? Okay, Yahoo Finance.
I think it's like 138-ish right now.
For DevStream?
Yeah. That was one of the ones
yeah.
I bought in at like 150, it got to like 271, and I missed the top. I still ended up selling at like 240. Made decent money on it in 3 days.
Yeah. So I mean, it says it's a $6 million market cap or just under, but if they're not getting back to me from something that should be able to benefit them, like, because that's what they do with carbon credits, their ESG, where like, can they not shop it around? Like, I don't know what's going on with them, but they didn't have a, yeah, that's not a good look. So anyway, obviously it's a separate business from what DEVVE is, and he was in Telegram saying like, yeah, that, you know, put us behind schedule a little bit. We're still going to get the funding. We're still going to get all these things, but it's just going to take a little while longer, which is, I think, fine. But everyone was freaking out because he mentioned something about FIAS. He's like, we have another way of building the business as well, like completely separate from their stock exchange partner, completely separate from everything else that they're doing. But he said that FIAS is going to be another big way to build the business. And I don't know how, but the people that were in there is like, so you're saying to dump DEVVE and buy FIAS. Now you're telling us to focus on like another token. And I was like, that is no, like, people are taking crazy pills. Well, I'm freaking out over here.
People invest money they don't have, and that's what it boils down to, you know. And that's what's and don't get me wrong, I've done it. I've done stuff when I was younger that it probably wasn't the smartest idea in the world, and it didn't work out for me.
I did that recently, like fuck. That last month.
There you go. There you go. You know, and like I said, I have basically DEVVE's like 10x market cap of FIAS. I basically have, if you would make them the same market cap, I basically have the same investment in it right now. Like I said, but if they can do what they say they can do, I cannot, because like, example, like if you trade, like I don't have an actual trade app yet, which I got to really sign up for like a Bluffin or something like that. But like, so you can't, so say if I know this move's going to happen in a day, I can buy it, but I can't sell it for 3 days. No. Or I get flagged as, hey, this is one of your no-nos. We're going to hold your funds if you keep doing this. Like, and DEVVE would completely erase that. Yeah. Where you would have all your money always liquid every day to trade. Every second. You could do 200 trades a day.
There's, I mean, if you do that, do you need $200,000 or can you keep the same $1,000 and do that with every trade?
You would be able to, because if DEVVE could T0, you would only need the same $1,000.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's the whole point of it. Because the T2 on Robinhood and Moomoo and all these other things, like even Fidelity, you get your money, so you got to wait 3 days. So like when I look at my moves, I try to like the XRP one, because I was buying basically 2x XXRP, which is just 2x leverage of XRP in an ETF, and I knew it was going to be a 2-week kind of in theory, but if it comes out that Trump wants to invade Canada and the market crashes, I'm done because I can't get out of it.
Yeah. Well, it's so strange because anything going on with Russia and Ukraine, market dips. Threats of China invading Taiwan, market dips. But the minute we go and we snatch another country's leader, market's pumping. And then on the news that he might do it to Colombia, Cuba, Mexico, annexing Greenland, like the market seems to be pumping. Like if America does something, it's good for markets, and if it doesn't, it's bad?
I don't know how they correlate. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't know either.
Like this week, I think this week is going to be super important because the tariff thing, they backed off, I think, to Wednesday on their decision.
Oh, Supreme Court?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be Friday, and then they backed that off to Wednesday. And what else? I think it's inflation numbers come out this week also.
Yeah, I think for the tariffs, I don't know if they want to look weak because apparently there are ways he can justify the tariffs through other means. I don't know how. So if the Supreme Court says, hey, you can't do this, but he does it in another way, that's just not going to make him look good. So they might just vote to. Obviously, the tariff thing would be a black swan. I mean, if what they rule against it, and then he finds it, and then he doesn't try to find a way around it. Sure, but it's an election year. I don't think he wants those $2,000 checks to go out to everyone. He wants
That will
money.
get delayed till about my guess on that is that's going to happen. It'll happen. Everybody get their money about October 10th before the election, so they remember how good the Republicans were to their bank account.
I would say Q2, so that this way it has time to inject into the market, and then
I know, wasn't it? I think that was it the COVID ones, the first ones. It was October when we got them, right before election. I thought in like 2020.
I don't
That's
remember.
First ever one.
I just remember
Because
not
COVID
qualifying because I made too much. Pissed off about it.
Copy that.
Oh yeah, to give back. There's no way. There's no way that.
Back.
Yeah, there's no way.
We're not
Like, yeah, but yeah, you're right. If that were to happen, yeah, like Jesus. But there's just no way. But yeah, a lot of people. I saw this meme before. A lot of people were talking about. Oh, I didn't save it. Maybe I did. Hold on. Nope, wrong one. A lot of people were saying that when Trump goes in and does the address, oh, it's not letting me. When he goes and gives the address, he should try to do it like this, and Maduro right next to him in like a black bondage mask.
Phenomenal.
Be great. He's such a troll. But yeah, so Trump, let's say if Trump somehow remains fairly level-headed for the next 6 months, I have a buddy of mine that I talked to, won't say his name right now, but talks to a lot of bankers, a lot of ETF guys, hedge guys. He's got buy orders at 25K for Bitcoin. And I was like, bro, that's insane. Like there's no way. And he's like, probably, but I have him down there anyway because we have this. What are your thoughts on it? It sounds insane, but every time I say that, it happens. So
as of right now, I don't see that. Could I see low 40s? Yes. I think there's going to be a lot of buying starting at about 62. Like I don't know if it's ever going to get that low, but the thing is, those are done when actually the exchanges crash, because you'll see that huge wick down.
Yeah,
those will trigger off sometimes. So it's like stealing Bitcoin, basically.
Yeah,
that's why a lot of people do that.
Yeah,
because you'll see that where like every other exchange will be like, say the bottom was $2, but then like on Binance it will say that it went to 16 cents.
Yeah,
so people will play that hedge just to see if it triggers.
Yeah, I could see that. So in your scenario of like the low 40s, it wicks down to the low 40s, but really stays at like 60, or it goes down there, but it actually could wick into the 30s, and then where the candle closes might be at the low 40s.
I have my buys starting at 60, and then they kind of every 5,000 till 40. So like that's kind of how my like I said, right now I told you, like I still think, because we're below the 200 moving average, I think we're going to get back up to that. We're going to tag it, maybe get a little above it. It's at like 98 right now. I can see us hitting 100, 103. Like I said, I told you the magic price is 107,500. If we do not close over 107,500 for like a week, it's more likely to roll.
Yeah, that doesn't seem likely to get up there, or sustain that. I mean, maybe when they pass the Clarity Act, it can touch that, but
I still think, because this is what I've learned, is there's always one more. You're like, there's no way it can go down. There's always one more, and like I said, imagine the people that are just getting into it, and all of a sudden it goes to 106, and people start buying like crazy, and then in a week it's 70,000. Everybody just fire selling that stuff that's not been through this. You're talking a 35% bye-bye.
Yeah.
I think I said, that's why I think Bitcoin could, like I said, if you use the the past lows of that 82 or 81, whatever got down there, about 50% off, I could see us. I could see us losing 50%. It's really hard with the ETFs though now, because like it's just such a good, like 40K Bitcoin. Like that's.
Yeah.
I mean, could it get lower? Of course.
Yeah. But getting in at 40 is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So that's one train of thought where even Manu said the other week when he was on, February, March, that's when they're looking to, I don't know who, I guess the big bankers, whoever's in charge, you know, behind the curtain, that's when you get there, stays there for 90 to 100 days. And there's a lot of people, including yourself, and I think me now too, that thinks for whatever reason that can happen. And we start getting that K-shaped recovery second half of the year. But then there's another train of thought where some smart people are like, listen, Clarity Act, rate cuts, Jerome Powell gets out, we're pumping, and don't know what happens in the short term, but we're pumping in like April, May. And maybe we start to see a little bit glimmers of that in the next 8 weeks, which I guess end of Q1. What are your thoughts on that and the odds of that happening? Why would that happen?
I think the Clarity Act is absolutely. That's why I don't think we're going to run until that actually comes out. I think that's why I'm all about the 100 to 103 possible Bitcoin in, I don't know, probably by middle of February-ish, somewhere in there. But then I could see the goodbye, and you know it will track like that. I'm very curious to see if they pass that in January, what happens. But I mean, crypto's taught us buy the rumor, sell the news on everything, even if it's positive. So that's like, I love XRP. XRP had a positive inflow on its ETFs for 33 days in a row, and yet the price went down. How does that happen?
Manipulation.
There you go. And like, I also found out like there's like a Coinbase, I forget what it's called, but it meters the Bitcoin, and like green means like more buys and red is sells. So what the whales were doing were they're buying all their Bitcoin on Coinbase. So when people check this chart, it said, holy cow, Bitcoin, huge.
Yeah.
They were immediately moving it to Binance and selling it there.
Yeah.
And taking the profit. They were just, it was a cycle like this.
Yeah.
You know?
I think a lot of people do like dark liquidity pools as well, where they buy Bitcoin on the, like where it doesn't affect the price. And then when they go and sell a little bit of that, then it triggers like some more sale orders, and then it gets to go down, then they get to buy it a bit cheaper. So you have it on that end as well. I guess there's multiple ways to skin a cat, same way as manipulating the markets. I've never tried to play those games.
We don't. Yeah. It's hard for us. Like don't get me wrong. If Manu called you and be like, "I just got the call, sell everything," but that's what I mean. Like those people get those calls, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
You know.
I can't. I'll tell you off camera. But at this point, for me, most of my net worth is just in companies, where it's. I don't want to say it doesn't matter what crypto does, but if somebody said like, hey, like if Manu gave me a call, I was like, bro, sell absolutely everything on God's green earth right now, I would do it. Whereas, 3 years ago, I'd be like, no, crypto's all I have. And now it's like a very small part of what I have.
Like, I've been telling you, like the alt season that everybody expected, it was in the stock market this year. Like I said, like defense tech stocks through the roof.
Yeah.
Like the SPY's been going up straight for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
Like I think we almost got played by the big money, because they knew we would put in, they yanked that liquidity and they put it in the stock market. Like, and I think they'll do the reverse by the time we figure out, like, because I can give you so many stocks that are up, I don't know, 200%, 500% for stocks. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like GM is killing it. Like I got
GM. Wait, really?
GM is killing it.
What it like? So last I was looking at, they were more of like a healthcare company than anything because they were not good. They had to sell off like a couple of their big auto factory things. What are they doing that's making the stock go boom?
I have no idea. GM's killing it. There's this new company I bought in. I saw the way it was going to close. If it closed the new year over $14, like its target's like 24, and like I bought into it, it's like 19. Like, you know, like a $5 move in 2 weeks in the stock market is huge. That was like, you know, like that's the crypto type moves that we play for, and that we're just not getting. Like there's this ETF. It's called it's like Shield. It's SHLD. That thing just running crazy. Kratos is like they're crypto games. They look like.
What do they do though? What are they doing that?
They're just all defense contracts. You know how the Halliburton game, like it's crazy. Like I don't know if I can find any of this stuff. Let me see here.
I'm curious on what they're.
Yeah, Shield is Global X Defense Tech ETF. Like it's silly.
You've had really good success with the dividend stocks that give you a dividend. Is it every month or every quarter?
Those can be quarter, month, they can be weekly. The trick there is, so that's one of the reasons I too wanted to look at. Basically, it's a game. So if you see a chart that looks like, hey, this one's going to go up and it's going to go up good for like 6 months, like Tesla did. They did that run from you buy the dividend stock, which it was TYSS or TSYY, I can't remember.
Yeah.
It pays every week. It was like $8, and it was paying me 20 cents weekly. And I had very little NAV decay because if it doesn't go up, you have tremendous NAV decay.
Yeah.
But by the point
so you're getting 2.5% a week?
Yeah.
That's insane.
But if it doesn't go up, you're losing money because you're dropping 60 cents a share every week. You know, that's why you got to find the ones that are they're going up. So that's another reason why I try to do like the technicals, because I really want to figure it out. Like, because there's a lot of money to be made in passive income like that.
Yeah. Look, I mean, if you get on a good run, put in 100K, you're getting 2,500 a week in dividends. Fudge, that's awesome.
Well, like MicroStrategies, I got in before the split at like 368.
Oh, you're going way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was MSTY, and that thing paid me between $1 and $4 a month for like 18 months in a row.
Okay. So
and like now I have it and it's all paid off. So the NAV decay doesn't care because whatever gives me is free money.
Yeah.
Like that's what I try to do with those. Now there's like the SPY. It's SPYI is a dividend based on it where it's paying you like 10 to 14% a month. And it's been paying like that for like 18 months because
God damn, bro.
Going up.
No wonder you're level 100 or you're 99, right?
I'm not. About 2 weeks I'll be level 100.
Oh my God! No wonder you're freaking killing it over there. Jeez.
Like I said, this is the thing is like these are the things that rich people do though. Like instead of taking the loan to buy the car, they take the loan to buy a stock, and they use the profits from the stock to buy the car. So now they have two assets, and that's where I've really been trying to like change my mentality and let my money work for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, when you have and obviously nothing's guaranteed, but in the high risk lending that I used to do, there's a buddy of mine that still does it that like he'll make 24.99% on every loan. And sometimes those loans are very, very short. So what he does, like he's got a couple $100 million now, but he's taken other investors. So you can put in money with him and he guarantees you 15% a year. Now, obviously, he's making like 30% a year, but off of
taking the risk too.
Yeah, he's taking the risk because he's guaranteeing it. But if you want to go and do so, I'll probably put some in if DEVVE ever or if Definity has a sale, and I don't know, I won't say what the possibilities are, but if somebody goes and buys DMA Link, I'll probably throw in like 200K, and then which at 15% was at 30, that's like 60K a year. And then it just, you could roll it over if you want. Like if you don't need the money, you could just have it roll over, which is bananas. But yeah, that's if you ever want to do that, even just throwing 100K, you know, getting 15K a year.
That's my goal. You know, but that's my goal right there, Randy. Like if we can, you know, right now we're the one cycle behind Rain. I want to be where Rain is.
Everyone wants to be where Rain is. Nobody's on Rain's level.
No, but you know what I mean? Like that's our goal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I don't know, like, and I just, like, VeVe taught me a lot of lessons in a lot of different ways, and I love VeVe, but that opportunity cost was huge. Exactly.
Yeah. I would have had a lot
different. Like, but hey, education costs money, you know.
Yeah.
And that's where the people that, you know, get all wound up, I just chalk it up as, hey, college cost me X. This is just hard knocks, baby.
My college cost me 650 grand.
You know, that it is what it is. I mean, but I mean, I've already started to evolve into what I'm doing now, and like I said, eventually I hope to be pretty good at it. Where like I said, I'm setting up actual, you know, okay, the 5 EMA, it just crossed above, set a trade in there, just let it do its thing, man.
So, so this is something I've been hearing since late 2000s, that the demand for physical silver is so high that the price, and again, in the silver didn't move for like 12 years, and then it just exploded, like Taco Bell, Hershey Squirt exploded, and it's crazy now. So obviously that went up eventually. What is it, like $80 now?
That's gold. I always forget what silver is.
I mean, a few years ago it was like what, $14, $24, give or take.
Oh, it was dirt. Yeah, it was dirt.
Yeah, and now it's crazy.
I mean, basically in June of 25, silver was $27, and now it is $79.88.
Yeah. Have you dabbled in precious metals at all?
I can. I haven't got there. And I don't know why. Like I said, because like gold, I was late to the party, but at like 32, I was looking at the chart. I'm like, man, this looks really good. Like, I mean, it's Rain's theory. The longer you pull that rubber band, it's gonna snap. And gold was pulled for what, 20 years before that thing went up. Yeah. You know.
And there's a rumor that like Europe's gonna like make gold illegal, and what the US did like 60, 70 years ago, they just buy back the gold and no one's allowed to have it. So that's also, I think, partially why everyone's been trying to scramble and buy it, and platinum's going up and all that. Like, it's been crazy.
Copper started exploding. Like all the precious metals, they're just running now. Palladium.
Yeah.
I used to run a junkyard back in the day, and oh my God, we'd make so much money off that stuff. It's absurd.
I bet. Oh, catalytic converters being snatched everywhere.
Just crazy.
Snatched.
Yeah, like silver looks like it's consolidating right now. Basically, if it doesn't 83, it's got to start closing over 83 to continue the run. It's looking between. It's got to be like 80 to 70. That's what's been consolidating a little bit. Like I said, but still, I mean, like I have, I don't know, 200 ounces or something. That was, you know, I probably should sell it honestly right now, because I'm sure I will buy it back here cheaper. But
yeah,
it's just like, it's nice to have. It's just one of those nice things that you know you can always sell it if you need it for whatever reason. And
I mean, even at 75 an ounce, as opposed to 79, you take that price and it's still 15K. get something nice. I mean, also like, well, I guess 200 ounces isn't that bad. Like that's not that heavy to move.
It's easy.
Yeah. Physical in many countries cost more for the ounce of silver. Damn, that is insane.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. All right. Zombie saying, what have you been collecting on VeVe since you got your third refill the other day, I think, right?
Oh, yeah. So my main goal, because I rotate, like we were talking about this earlier, is the collectibles. I go from comics, which I was super high on comics, and then I'll start going back to collectibles. So my first goal that I really wanted to have was every secret rare in Comics and Crypto's top 20. So I bought every secret rare in Comics and Crypto's top 20. I now own. And that's more like for me. Like I don't have any duplicates of it. Like they're just mine because I'm not that rich. Like I don't have that kind of money. Like, you know, and I bought a lot of that stuff when like I got my Thor secret rare for like $600. Like I got my X-Men for like 800. Like they were down there pretty. So that I did. I've been going pretty heavy on the turtles. Like I said, I completed my third gold Disney gold moments. I got 3 of the first set of Batman Black and White because I think like those are the iconic things like I really like. I actually bought the VeVe Christmas set.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, the golden tree, right?
Yes. I actually bought that whole set. I wanted to be one of the 20 people that had that full set.
So I don't know why, but so there's 4 1 of 20s, but that one is the most expensive. Like, is it that one just the most
gold? I don't know. Like that's all I got. I don't know why that one's the most expensive. Because it was like you guys were talking about it earlier on Omi's My Homie last week, I think. Like I think that VeVe's IP has the potential to be, I don't want to say like Mario Brothers or anything, but it has a big, like, to OGs, like my gold and silver logo will never get sold. It will, like that, it doesn't matter. Like that thing will never get sold. Like there's certain things that I'll always hold. And like, I think as long as, like Rain was saying, as long as they don't do it, like I don't, like you can't do it all the time. But if you do once or twice a year, or you drop, like, if you drop it, like I loved the New Year's Eve drop. That served such a purpose that it cost them probably nothing. And it shows you that, what'd you say, 24,000 people logged on like December 23rd or something like that?
No. Well, no. On the last couple of days, there was a lot of people because they got notification that they got airdropped. So that doesn't really count, but
does count because that shows you the people that aren't interested in VeVe at all were still interested enough that when they got a free collectible, they logged on to see what it was. So they haven't given up totally on VeVe.
On January 1st, there was 23,961 people.
That's very telling because, like, they haven't been on there. Like we haven't had that number in 2 years?
A long time.
A long time. And a free collectible got people to log on. And maybe they sold it and maybe they didn't. But maybe they started looking at other things they had and like, oh, wait a minute, this is really expensive. Maybe I'll sell it. Like it was enough to get 20,000 people because we get 2 to 3 on a good day now. On a great day. So you got 20,000 people that hadn't logged on in 18 months because of that notification. So they still like VeVe enough to check.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. Omar says, I'm still curious about the common TMNT since it's a good amount. And MC did hint that maybe more will be for it. Thinking burn to upgrade. I feel like I'm out of the loop here. You can burn to upgrade those?
No, not that I know of.
Oh, he's thinking that you will be able to burn to upgrade. Okay, I gotcha. The reason why I don't think so is because I know 3,000 common seems like a lot right now because there's like 900 users a day, but at some point that will not be enough, and these will be $50.
I mean, a lot of people probably don't even like. It's getting to the point where people forget that 60,000 collectibles sold out in 3 minutes.
Yeah,
like they forget like that people would wait for. I can't. We still have a war board down on one of our dry erase boards of our gold moment strategy back in the day. We were paying $800 for an R2, and we were loving it.
Yeah, because they went up to like $8,000, didn't they?
Yeah.
R2. Yeah.
And you know who didn't sell? This guy, unfortunately. But that's part of the lesson, you know. Yeah. I don't know. I like I said, I've told you where I differ. Like I'm all about a rising tide, all that. I don't care about none of that. I want us to smash everybody.
Yeah.
Like that's how I believe. Like and you can say that like it's the PR thing to say, but I love the fact that Candy's a train wreck. And like I do.
Ice cold, William. Ice cold.
You know, like that was like, and I have stuff on Candy. Like I have my Supermans that I'll probably lose, but like, God. I mean, they're a train wreck. They're a dumpster fire, and they don't help the NFT space at all. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you have. So I did like a 30-minute like TED talk yesterday on why Nike selling Artifact was good for VeVe, because I think it is. And we had and it's very similar to Candy. Like the people that were behind it are not doing the right thing. They're accusing them of rug pulling because like they're, hey, buy all these assets. We'll promise utility. We promise this. We promise that. You can't, like, even people that that they had money there, like they didn't have the product anymore. They sold the product. They had the money for bat cows. They're like, people are like saying god awful things to Jim Lee because like, where's my money, Jim? And it's like, I don't know if that's really his fault. Like you bought something.
No, he doesn't have any idea what Web3.
Yeah, like I don't. Yeah.
You know, and like, look, I love Tom Brady, and I bought his NFT, and that is by far the most utility, the best brands. Like Tom Brady, that's a good brand, and it failed. It failed miserably.
Yeah.
I still got to go to Tampa and see Tom Brady. And that was cool, you know. But if that can't make it, the space isn't ready, and you got to evolve. And that cry for, I need custody of my own wallet and I need utility. It didn't matter. I had utility of my Tom Brady. I had tons of them.
Yeah.
And they're gone. They don't matter no more.
Wow. So that's one of my favorite pictures of Lori. So happy, like hugging Tom Brady. I was like, oh, that's cool. I think things will be different now with the collect chain. I think the collect chain is going to be able, because it's one thing if you have an NFT, yeah, it's interoperable, but it has no IP. There's nothing really going on with it. Nobody cares. But if Disney becomes interoperable and Marvel, and I'm not saying that they'll be the first ones to be interoperable. They might do like Kripkins first or some of the other brands that you could put into MetaMask.
The artists and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I think that does mean something when last time you had somebody saying like, oh, there's a first appearance Mickey Mouse. I'll trade you Bored Ape for it. But they wound up not doing it because it wasn't interoperable and you couldn't put it in your MetaMask. So do those people come back now and now are suddenly interested in the first appearance Mickey Mouse? Because now you can put it in your MetaMask. Again, not right now, in a couple months, but I don't know. What is your take on how much of an effect collect chain will have on VeVe collectibles?
It will have a huge effect, and not for I can trade up for a Bored Ape. It will have a huge effect because Disney, I can guarantee your 8% royalty forever.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point of that. Look, Disney don't care. They'll give its license out to anyone. If you can constantly be handing them money, just like Marvel with the comics and stuff, they're on board.
Yeah.
You know, that's where because just that's why OpenSea's collapsed, because no, we have to give them. Nobody got that royalty. So if you actually have that built into, I'm just curious on the actual, like, I guess tokenomics behind it. Like, how does that get paid out? And like, do they give them OMI? Do they sell OMI? Like, that's where I'm curious on that.
They'd probably have to sell OMI. Because like they'd have to pay Disney. There's no way Disney would want OMI unless they do. Unless like
if that happened, that'd be, if I could use OMI in Disney World, we'd all be having an island. Jesus. Dr. Profit would, oh God. He'd probably have to change his name again and just be like, okay, because oh my God, yeah, that'd be insane. He would. I'm surprised he doesn't have security with him now, with how much he's worth. But that's the other thing. Like, you have a guy that believed in the concept of VeVe, that's literally probably almost a billionaire. Maybe he's more. I have no idea. I have no idea. And he's willing to create his own blockchain because he sees the future, so that he can make sure that people like Disney get their money so that they perpetuate the space and build out.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge.
No, I mean, it's also, well, it's definitely part of that. But I think it's also part that, again, OpenSea can't guarantee Pudgy Penguins. Like, Pudgy Penguins, like, they haven't made anything on their recurring sales. And what do you think? Are they going to keep that on OpenSea? No, they're going to go to the collect chain, because they can guarantee they're like, everyone's going to, I guarantee you, everyone that's on Immutable X, which they have so many IPs, they have so many licenses over there, that went on there for gaming, they're like, well, you can't guarantee, like, they're going to go, everyone's going to go to collect chain.
Exactly.
And Dr. Profit had mentioned, or Dr. Collect now has mentioned, that it's possible that in the future, all of these transactions could burn OMI at some point, whether it's in ETH, whether it's in USDT, DC, whatever. Yeah, that'd be huge. If we can get that type of burn, because then that might actually cause some buy pressure on it and offset the sell pressure that we would have for the licenses. Either way, I'll take it.
Yeah, like that's I mean, but that's one of the reasons I really like. One, like, you can actually get money immediately. So if, okay, I messed up, I need to sell my AF-15 secret rare. I'm pretty sure I put it for 25 million OMI. I got it within a week. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like that's nice, and you don't have to pay the 10% with the gems and the. It's nice, and the thing is, other projects like OpenSea, yeah, they had it, but OpenSea was a train wreck to use, and especially with all the scams.
Yeah.
Where I don't think that will be the case on Collect Chain. I think Dr. Collect is smart enough to build some kind of security against that. I mean, at least I would think he would, and just imagine you could go on Collect Chain and get Bored Apes and Pudgy Penguins and Moonbirds, or whatever they're called, and VeVe, and you don't have to worry about it being a fake. Like, would be nice. Yeah. And then that's where you could get the, hey, I got 2 partner statues for your board, Board Yacht 8, and like, that's big.
It was, I have to go to my actual profile here and take a look, because I had mentioned this July 22nd. I had posted a thing from YouTube where I said, OpenSea, VeVe doesn't need OpenSea, OpenSea needs VeVe. And everyone laughed. Ain't no more. Yeah, I could picture that going pretty crazy in the next 6 months. I mean, I don't know whenever Collect Chain goes live, but yeah.
I hope that VeVe can, like I'm a huge sports guy, so like, to me, like, the boxing glove, that's not a sports vertical. Like, it's that's not what I'm looking for. It's a novelty more than anything to say that you had a sports on there. And I'm not taking anything from him. I mean, he's heavyweight champion. That's great. But like, if you can give royalties, like think of all the cards that were sold on Candy. Like I almost bought a Shohei, a 1 of 5 or something for like $800. And I'm like, man, I don't know about that. You know, I don't know if I'll ever get it you don't know. But imagine if you were getting your 8% on that kind of stuff. That's going to be huge. Who wouldn't want to do business on that chain for Dr. Profit? And then if your easiest facilitator is VeVe with a proven track record, people would be coming to you.
They will. I'm sure they are already. What's your take on Canada? I know obviously you're laughing at the fact that they're a hot mess right now, but what should VeVe do? Obviously, they shouldn't buy the platform because that's worthless. But the IP, I mean, it's the IP that's on there that makes it worth it. This would be a very easy way to get DC Comics. It would be a very easy way to get into sports with baseball when you have those Otanis. And I mean, they don't need to necessarily buy those because they're not going to get any of that revenue up front from it. They can get it on the 2.5% whenever they trade, and that's fine. But I think it would be easier to talk to the licenses and just redo a lot of those drops, but for high end on VeVe. I know that's going to piss a lot of people off that have stuff on Candy, but website platform failed. Why not reprint the high end stuff?
I don't, other than just trying to see, they're really business wise, there's no reason not to just close the platform and like, because then you'll get the revenue for Action Comics and the first Superman and don't get me wrong, I have that stuff on. I have multiples, but if I was a business, like you failed, and it's just like my Tom Brady's from Autograph. Guess what? They're worth nothing. It's just like my Rugrats from Recur. They don't exist. Like, why would you, other than, I guess, trying to build a bridge to the people that have them, but those people will come back anyway for it. If you're telling me if Superman 1 dropped on VeVe 8,000 editions, you're telling me those people ain't gonna try to get it? There's literally there's no business reason not to. Yeah. I've told you this. Look, David Yu, in person, is the nicest guy on the planet. That guy is an absolute savage as a businessman. He is a savage. Like, if you guys don't see that in his eyes, he's a savage. He doesn't care. Like, he makes money. I
love him so much. I can't wait to give him a hug again. It's been too long since I've given him a hug.
That's one of the reasons I liked him. He's not. Think about how much revenue between the Batmans and the Supermans and the first Flash and the first Shazam, and like, that's just money. And why would, like, and then you would have the headache of trying to transfer that over. And maybe it's easy. I'm not a programmer. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But why? I'll still pay 10 or 20 bucks to try to go for it again.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Of course. Yeah, we all would. There's another reason is because we've seen it before with, I mean, baseball stuff all the time. Like, well, just because Upper Deck is doing it doesn't mean Topps can't do it. Doesn't mean Fleer can't do it. They all do it. But then you have it even with Pokemon. Like there was Topps, there was Cardass, there was Megi cards, blueback, greenback cards, and they were out there. People bought them, but people don't really care about a lot of those. They care about the first edition Charizard by Wizards of the Coast by WotC. And you have your 5 other Charizards before then, and some of them are worth something. But yeah, that first edition, that's where it mattered. So you could possibly have, like, I think you already have like the DC Comics on one, but I think people should be thankful that there was only one before maybe it could come to VeVe. And the VeVe one's probably the one that's going to matter because the platform lasts and is popular.
I just, like I said, as a business man, why would you not, like, think about it. Okay, Superman 1 is $20 and you could match the 10,000 editions, it would sell out. Even in these conditions, it would sell out. You know, why would you pass up the 200K?
Yeah. That's great. That's beautiful. And they could do you remember when they first came out and like the ones that came out, I think it was Palm at the time, they had like the little staple markers in there. And it's like, why would you? And then the people that tried to code be like, well, this is what they actually looked like. And it's like, okay, fair point, but do you want it to look like that? You know,
that brings me back, because that went back to the guy that wanted the ads in the comics with the friggin' you got the amoebas and stuff, and he said it wasn't the original comic because you didn't have all the ads from the old stuff. Oh, that brings me back right there, man.
Yeah. I'm sure there was a lot of talk about that in Spaces. Speaking of which, we both have been quite critical on a lot of the Spaces nowadays. Where one I kind of felt bad because it was Max and Janie that had invited. So I did this twice, and the time that Max and Janie did was the last time. First time it was some comic show where it was Aliens versus Avengers, I think number 3 or number 4, that they had me on for. And it was 35 minutes of music and intros before I got to talk. And like, I'm not saying like, hey, this should all be about me. Like, by all means, if people have like quality things to say in that time, I'm happy to wait. I'm happy to learn. But it was bullshit. And the other time was with Max and Jay. They were doing a game which was fun. It's like, hey, we're doing like these things, comment your answer, or buzz in your answer, and that was fun. That was cool. But yeah, a lot of breaks, a lot of stuff, and I felt it kind of ruined the flow. And they like kind of talked to me about it in Orlando last year. They're like, "Were you like not into it?" I was like, "No, I was so into it. Like the game was fun, but I thought it was like we were gonna do this for like half hour, 45 minutes, not be there for like 90 minutes. I had like other stuff to do, and I had to dip early before the game was done. And again, I love them, and shout out to them for doing stuff with Whatnot because they are crushing it. But anyway, bringing it back to Spaces. And I totally want your opinion on this, but when Spaces first came out, or at least when I first started going on Spaces, you had all of these people from different walks of life giving their insight on why they thought something was a good idea or a bad idea, whether it was collecting, whether it was investing, whatever. And that's what all the Spaces were. And then it kind of evolved where you had like interviews, and that's what Queen VeVe, that's what Lori had. And then after some point, it kind of devolved into, again, 35 minutes of music and intros before. And it's just like, I don't know what business person worth their salt is going to go into those spaces and listen. And if they do, God bless them, they have the patience. I don't know if I could invest in anything that a lot of these people are talking about unless I heard something super competent and okay, this person's conscientious, this person like track record of success, and I haven't seen that in Spaces in a while. But I want your take on Spaces because I feel like we've both been critical.
All right, so I used to love Spaces. When I was remodeling one of my houses, I would just leave them on, and it was literally 24 hours of entertainment, whether it be fun, whether it be good. And there was a little bit of like, and don't get me wrong, like I don't want to blame it all on Spaces because it's been rough to find things to talk about. Like, I'm sorry, but Red Hulk number 28 on a drop, there's not much you can do with the space on that. Like, so, but Leonardo, we should have been able to have like a quality space, and maybe we did, but they're so uninteresting, I don't listen to them. And when I do click on them, most of the time they're playing music or they're talking about something that is completely random that has nothing to do with VeVe. And there's no value in them, in my opinion. right now. And like I said, that's not really their fault, because it's, you don't have like even like MC1 and Rolla, they're busy people, and I know they say that we collect what we love. If they couldn't make money, they wouldn't be here. Don't kid yourself there either. And right now it's hard to make money. So they put their time making money elsewhere. That's what successful people do. And I hope when the rush comes back that we get back to spaces where you have really quality opinions and perspectives, even if I don't agree with it. Like, it could be something totally contradictory to what I think, but it can be presented in a way that is intelligent, and it can add value to, like, because sometimes you're wrong. I'm wrong. Sometimes I have no idea what's really going on, and then when somebody says something like, you know what, you're right, you know, and I don't get anything from the spaces anymore.
I mean, so in their defense, a lot of, like, there's sometimes, and granted, I answer like every question for people that have stuff on here, but some in a video that's supposed to be, let's say, like semi-serious or do whatever, someone will have a question and I'll answer it, and I'll go off on a tangent, and it'll be like 5 minutes before I get back on track and like, okay, here's something of value. It's just gonna be a random story. It might be a fart joke. Like, I don't know. And it's a lot easier to get off track when you have when you're with your buddies, and on spaces, everyone's kind of friends, they're kind of buddies, and you know, someone will say something, someone will like come in with like a joke, and like, oh, remember that time? And you know, when you're with your buddies, like, you know, that's I think par for the course. So I think that's what gets them off track a little bit as well. I think sometimes it's better where you just have like some kind of professional stuff, and it's not as buddy.
But you could have, that's what I mean. Like, so that I agree. There's nothing wrong with, like, but like the Leonardo drop, like that's a big drop for VeVe. Like, we sold out. Like, we could have had those days where we could have the prices, and we could, you know, like I said, maybe we did. I can't really truly say, because I don't click on them anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and even like there was David Yu was in a space, was it New Year's? And like I was listening to it, and it just lacks. I don't know why it lacks. It just does. You know, I don't. It just, and like I said, to be fair, like I said, look at the two drops last week. What are you gonna say about those?
What do we have last week? I don't even know.
What, right there? What did we have last week? We had Valkyrie 1, and we had, I forget the other one.
Oh, okay. I never read that comic, but I'd be curious to read Jane Foster's Valkyrie. What does she do?
Yeah, but I can pick it up for $1 after the drop. I know I can. Thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The Leonardo. That's pretty much the only one. Yeah. And then the rest of them are. We had the airdrop, the Happy New Year. That's cool.
And maybe I had a good space there. I have no idea. Like I said, I mean, that was Christmas, and I actually missed the drop, and then I was like, dang it.
Even when we had Michelangelo drop, and I had Michelle Ivy on, so I fucking emoji. He posts something, I think it's like a space, and he said like everyone, so her name on Twitter is like Ivy Angelo, and he's like, everyone tag Michelle Ivy, she's the biggest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. So like I took a screenshot and texted her. I was like, you're Twitter famous. And she's like, what? I was like, yeah, everyone's like trying to tag you, and like she's like, what is this? I was like, they had the Leonardo drop. So I feel like a crack dealer here. I gave her like the $40 to get the Michelangelo, because if she hit,
right,
she was gonna be addicted. And then I tried to get, I forgot the Leonardo drop was, I forget why. I think my girlfriend was over, and that's probably why. And I get to her like 30 minutes before the drop, and she didn't answer. I was like, and by the time she did answer, it was sold out. I was like, sorry, because I want her to hit something, because I know once she hits, that's it.
That's my biggest conspiracy, that there's an algorithm somewhere that you got, the new people get, like, say our rate for secret rare is 1 in 50. Theirs might be 1 in 20, because I know a lot of people I got into VeVe, and they got a lot more secret rares than I did on their first couple drops.
Yeah.
And that's just smart business. I'm sorry, that's just smart business. It's like the casino. You go and you pull the lever one time and you hit, and guess what? You're a slot player for life.
That's true. It's like, yeah, lottery. Got to be in it to win it. You got to believe, says the Mets fans every year.
That's it.
Got to get that bread. God. I don't know when we would get a. I mean, there's 2 more turtles left, and then there's a bunch of vehicles, and then there's Splinter, and then there's a whole bunch.
I'm ready for Rocksteady and Bebop. Those guys are. I think they'll be cool.
Not Casey Jones.
Oh, I forgot about Casey Jones.
I forget about Casey Jones.
The turtles, like, I plan on getting those 84 and having a complete set. And if they do a turtle a month, that means in a couple months we'll have them all. You're getting these turtles for $500 or $600 right now. You won't be able to touch those. I don't want to give a price, but I can't see you touching them under 10 grand.
Yeah, thousands.
You know, and like I said, and let alone if you can, which back to Dr. Collect, renting. That was a big part of his little spiel, was renting, which was always the thought. Yeah. And we can rent and they'll be returned. Like, if you have those turtles that can go into Fortnite, and I don't know anything. I'm not saying we're gonna have turtles that go into Fortnite. But if you look at your IP address for your it looks just like a crypto address. I'm just throwing it out there on Fortnite. But people will pay $5 to use that skin for a day.
Hell yeah.
They won't even think twice about it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So it took us a few years, but yeah, we're gonna get there. There.
That's why I actually started buying a lot more collectibles, because I went to comics because it to me intrinsically has more value, because you have a physical that gives you a comparable idea of what's good. And then when I heard renting again, because we hadn't heard renting for a long time, and like I said, Dr. Collect made sure to say, like, and you can rent, and we will set up the contract, and it'll be returned to your wallet in a day or two. That means passive income, and now we're talking.
Hell yeah! Oh God, I'm so ready, so freaking ready for this. That's why I want them to do like some type of gaming. Because you have it in an asset, and the asset, like, it's gamified. Oh my God! Especially if they put the mint number on it.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Somebody's running around with Reso number 11 or whatever the first one was.
Yeah, like 14.
People would pay for that. That's just a flex. That's back to being a flex again.
And what would make it, I think, even better, like, so you could probably loan it probably for very cheap, if not free. Like, if I wanted to, let's say I had the number 16 or like whatever it is, pick a collectible, and you had a great mint number, and you knew that someone somewhere in the world was going to pay big money for it, but you couldn't contact them. You could contact a gamer that's big on Twitch, big on whatever. So like, hey, play this. Like, I'm going to give it to you for free for, like, a week. Play it with this for a week. And I'll give you 5% of the commission when someone comes in and says, like, hey, I want to buy this. Because that gets it out to hundreds of thousands of people if they're playing it in a game. So yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the best things I heard. There was 2 things, and that was, one, guaranteed that the licensors get their licensing fee, their 8% residual, and renting was back on the table, because like that, there's 2 grails that I want that I don't have, and I probably will not get them because they're absurd. Miles and the original Donnie. Those are that. Everything else I have is pretty much I have, and I want it. Now, there's a couple other things, like the diamond VeVe logo that there's 15. Yeah. I don't care about that much. I just don't. But I would love a Donnie, and I would love a Miles, and I'm not going to spend 20 grand for them. I just not.
Is Miles 20 grand?
They're each 10 roughly.
Okay, yeah. Donnie, I feel like we only care about because like we were there. Like I feel like
care about him. That's what I mean. Me and you care about him because we were there.
We were there. It was 3,000 years ago. We were there. I feel like we'll be in like the nursing home and be like, I was there when Donnie was released. I know, Grandpa. Take your meds. Like,
yeah, no, like I can't wait to give this to my niece. She could have Donnie. She won't even know who Donnie is, but he'll be worth $50K. You know.
Yeah. I love those memes where there's just like people going in Pokemon and be like, Gen 1 was the best. And Pokemon's on like Gen 79. I know, Grandpa. It's fine. I hopefully won't have any of the grandkids. Ande reposted the stream. Thank you, Ande. Yeah, I don't know who to, I mean, I might leave Max with a couple of things. I don't know who else to maybe the girlfriend's kids with a couple of things. I don't know, but ideally I'd like to just have the Madagascar animal charity thing set up, and then maybe whoever takes over daCat, because I think at some point I'll find a good writer and I'll be like, okay, it's yours now.
That's the goal of every good businessman. Take something, start from zero, make it great, and sell it. That's the way to do it. Keep 10% of the company for residuals or whatever, and enjoy your money. Like that's the way to go.
When the DMA link gets sold, like I'll cash out my stuff there. I'll have to, but another part of it, there's another company that I have that'll be raising money at an insane valuation, and I've talked to a couple people about it. I can talk to you about the details now. So I wound up getting a good amount of this company, like in the low six figures, when it was at $100 million market cap. Okay. They're going to raise money at about a $1 billion market cap. And so, but, and I don't know, like I'll probably take some. I don't know if I'll take half. I mean, maybe half, because, give me like $1 million. But if I do, that billion, like, is that billion going to do another 10x in another like 2 or 3 years? Probably not. It might take several, or it might. I don't know. Business can go crazy.
Yeah, you got to take the money in hand though sometimes.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna take some. I might take half. I don't know. Because again, like, not that I put the whole $1 million in there, but put $1 million into the high risk lending, and then suddenly
you're done.
Get a nice $150K a year. That guaranteed 15%. Get $150K a year, and that's pretty nice.
That's good living.
Yeah. And that's not including any other crypto so again, this is what I mean when, like, if somebody were to, like, if Manu like ever received that call and said like, hey, sell everything, I would sell all the crypto, and even if he was wrong, it wouldn't really matter anymore. But I was thinking like, okay, if I did take all of it and I put like just $1 million into crypto, put $1 million like into the high risk lending, make sure that takes care of me forever. But what would you do? Even with just, like, let's say $1 million, it's a nice round number. Would you put like 70% into XRP and then 30% into alts, or would you do the opposite? It'd be like, okay, 30%, that's my base, that's my position of FU, and 70% just go wild in all these alts.
That's hard. Right now I'm about 50-50 with traditional and like crypto.
Yeah.
For my net worth. Like I truly believe that, like, OMI, DEVVE, like some of these projects, even though we've taken a beating, like the belief is still there. I don't know. The truth is, it depends how much we make, because that would determine what I really need to do.
Yeah.
Like I don't. My goal in life is not to have $180 million. It's not mine. That's just not who I am. Just not who I am. Like if I had $10 million, I could live like a king. I could help enough people. I could still invest on the side. But at that point, you could make right there. I give
I don't
2
think 10
million
million's
to your
enough.
buddy, and it's $300K a year.
But 2 million, yeah, 2 million. So I'll actually probably do, if things go according to plan. So you can max out at 4, but now that I have the girlfriend, I'll be like, oh, this is mine, this is hers, and then I'll give her a piece. But yeah, that would be. So I guess you could technically, if you have a spouse or girlfriend, you could max out at 8.
You're telling me that a 1.2 guaranteed a year, you can't live like a king like that?
So like, this is all right. So two frames of thought. I could probably live. It'd be a very meager lifestyle, but I could probably live a semi-okay life on just $1 million for like the next 20 years, like probably even longer. Where maybe I don't go on these crazy fancy trips, but I have my bills taken care of. I have my like food, gym membership, nutrition, internet. Again, it would be a fairly meager lifestyle, but I could live somewhat comfortably. Get a decent bed. Like, for the next 20 plus years, which probably more the rest of my life. But to be honest, like, you can't step into, like, I've trespassed before into greatness, and to live, like I was just saying, like, is to me is like settling for mediocrity. And I think, like, if I'm going to China or Australia, I'm not doing that, coach. I will unalive myself to do that. My back couldn't take it. I'm doing that first class, and that's going to be like $10,000, which is fine. But you can only do that so many times before that money runs out real quick.
Oh yeah.
So I don't think 10 million is enough. I think, like, especially when 90% of what I have is going to go into this, like buying land in Madagascar, hiring security teams, and all that. Yeah, 10 million is not enough. 100 million plus.
I'll tell you what. I'll change my opinion when I get to the 10 million. How about that? We'll
all right, my man.
Because you're younger than me, so I mean, honestly, like, if I was able to, like, I mean, I'm getting to the point where I'm almost 50. Like, almost like where you want to help animals. Like, I love animals, don't get me wrong. But, like, I could see myself just wanting to be like a life coach or stuff and get paid for whatever you can afford. If you can pay me in whatever, you grow a garden, great. Give me 10 to make, like, because, like, Randy, like, you realize, like, when bad things happen, money don't matter. It doesn't matter. What's your legacy really going to be? And then what if you never, David and Dan decide, boom, we're done, we're out. Then what? We have nothing. And that's possible. I mean, I don't think it's likely.
We have nothing in VeVe and OMI.
But you know what I mean? Okay, well, whatever. Nothing is for sure until you have it.
Agreed.
And there's so many ways to make a difference in this world that don't even necessarily require money.
Yeah.
And like I said, sometimes you got problems that literally most problems are solved with money. There's some that aren't, though.
Yeah.
So like I said, I got a little different perspective on that. Like, I'm pretty good with having enough money to buy 10, 12 acres, build 5 houses, move my sister on, people I care about. We all have a connected past with a golf cart, and I'm good. Like, I'm good. Like, dude, tomorrow's not promised to anybody, Why slave? What good's the 10 million if you died trying to get it, Like,
I mean, maybe it's because I'm still to most of the world on the younger side. If you're like 15, I'm old as fuck, but I mean, just thankfully my back, like you were there, like when I couldn't get up out of bed. I had to roll over, put my legs over the side, and then do that to like try to get up. I had like 5% mobility. Now that my body's back mostly, I don't know. I feel like this responsibility of like Robert Irwin has really stepped into his father's shoes and whatever. But you know, that's one family, and I don't know if I don't know if there's nobody else working on a problem, and I'm not the smartest person, I'm not the richest, but I think if I just move the ball forward a little bit and realize and make people realize, okay, there's somebody else that's actually doing something, and this dude came from fucking nothing, and he's trying. If you're another person, like what could I do that I'm smarter than him? I have more money than him, like whatever. I want to do more. We could at least again move that ball forward, and then someone smarter in the future will take that and eventually hopefully carry it to the finish line. But I also think that AI is really gonna help in this aspect where if life is a game and humans they don't know it, but if humans are collectively working together to try to open up the tech tree and make everything as good as possible, yeah, there's a lot of people that are not in third world countries that are not able to help in any meaningful way. So, okay, well, how do you help that? You get them immunized, you get them energy, clean water, and then they can be able to focus on science and tech and doing stuff and contributing. And now with AI, they'll be able to learn a lot easier, a lot quicker. And I think that I hope the Gen Alpha, maybe partial to Gen Z, although Gen Z's kind of grown up now, they're in their 20s, they're adults. But hopefully Gen Alpha has this new, and I know it doesn't seem like it because of like the 6-7, but I think some of them are going to be smart enough to be able to like change the way that college works, where suddenly you don't like, are you smart because you go to these colleges, or do you go to these colleges because you're super smart and that's the way that it's always been? And I think somewhere along the way, AI is going to change how just education works, and it's going to be available everywhere in the world. And I want to be able to like trailblaze, hey, I did this without AI. Think of what you can do. You're smarter, you're younger, and you can do more than me with AI. And I feel like if I don't do that, like I saw this TikTok the other day where this girl is like, imagine dying, and let's say heaven's real, like pretend it's real for right now. And you meet Jesus and he says like, why didn't you become who you were supposed to be or what you wanted to be? And I don't want to not have an answer for that. Even if there's like a next to 0% chance of that ever happening. I don't know. I don't want it to be, even if this is a simulation, it is a game. I want to get a high score. I think I would get more points, and I think it's better for humanity if I do that. And to do that, I think I need right now $100+ million. I don't know, that was a really long-winded explanation, but that's my thoughts.
But this is where I'm at, Randy.
Mm-hmm.
What if it's not you that needs 100 million, but you have a conversation with somebody that you change their life and they go out to earn it? Like you always hear the stories of like Sandra Bullock or all these actors when they were struggling and some random person just helped them. What if you're supposed to be that random person, so like I guess wisdom is worth more than money sometimes.
Yeah.
And the ability to tell someone the correct thing that they need to hear at the right time is life-changing. And where money is one avenue to do it, just believing in somebody at the right time, that can make all the difference, And like I love, and I don't know if they're true because now AI makes everything. So I have no idea if half these things are true anymore. But you hear about like the one I read today, and it could be completely false. I have no idea. But it's the concept where Sandra Bullock was a waitress trying to save money for acting classes. And an old farmer came in every day or every week or whatever, gave her $100 tips and wrote a note that said, this is for acting classes. Well, she became famous with speed and found out that that person's farm was getting repoed because he didn't have the money. And she ended up buying that farm and giving him the deed. Like it wasn't his money that was substantial, but it changed the trajectory of someone's life to be substantial. You know, so like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not going to kick $100 million out of bed. I'm not. But I don't need it. I can make a difference with people, and I'm not worth half of what some of these people are. You know what I mean? Because I know what it's like to be just beat down, and I know how to get back up, and a lot of people don't know that anymore. You know?
Agreed. I think there's that reminds me of a poem by Emily Dickinson, where she says that, I can't remember, it's something about a slant of light and cathedral tunes, but Emily wrote very convincingly about the world, despite the fact that she was a virtual recluse. And it reminds me of a quote that said, like, knowledge is either stored in books or alive in the consciousness of men and women now. But like, how many people can you help on a day-to-day basis just by going out there? My friend Julie had this very interesting conversation with this older guy. It's like 10, 12 years ago. And he's just like, get off the internet, go outside and talk to people. Okay, fair point. You could probably make a more meaningful connection with someone face to face. But on the internet, you can go in and reach a lot more people. And, if, I meet someone and let's say they're just having a hard time, like, yeah, most likely I could make them feel, I think I'd be able to like make them feel better. Hey, what's going on? And maybe just, even if they don't need advice, even if they just need someone to like listen to them, even if they just need someone to think that, hey, like someone's paying attention to them. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't need to be me. But I think there's some other people out there. It's like, maybe have a conversation with someone and maybe you're a little skeptical. Like they might not say it, like, why would I listen to you? Like, because like, it doesn't matter how much money I get, I'll still be wearing cat shirts. I'll still be wearing Mario shirts. I'll still be eating Taco Bell. And it's like, what are, like, what credibility do you have? Like, you look like shit. It's like, okay, fair point, I do. But I think like online they could tell like, oh, okay, got a bunch of these videos, got a bunch of these followers. Maybe what he says has merit, and maybe now I'll listen to him. So even though I'd love to do both, but I just feel like, how many people might I be missing if I just do like the, talking to people? And again, a well-balanced person should be able to do both, and maybe I should be able to, but that's kind of where I'm coming from as well.
The best example I have is lately I started talking to Johnny Dunn a bunch, just out of randomness, and it had to do with, I saw him listing some of his collectibles, and I almost bought them. And Lori loved Johnny Dunn, and I know she would be pissed if I would have bought his collectibles.
Wait, why?
Because those are his. Like, he was an OG. Like,
yeah.
And so I wrote to him. I'm like, hey, I see you're trying to sell this. I mean, do you really want to sell it? Like, I explained who I was. And he's like, yeah, I got some other things I want to help. I'm like, well, maybe I can help. And I was able to help, for very minimal effort. But it made all the difference to him. And like, he sent me something. I should probably go get it, because he also gave me a story which is tremendous. So Johnny Dunn was one of the first VeVe guys to be spamming everywhere. He's before us. And this is also an interesting story because Cavell Anderson is involved in this. And he sent me the original gold and silver logo that he got from David and Dan before the gold and silver logo even exists. And he sent me a little light also. Not his actual light up one, but it's a little like paperweight VeVe thing. And he said this was the first thing they ever sent to any influencer.
Wow.
It means the world to me, and I want you to have it.
Deal.
Because I was able to help him. And I had just random. It's just random. I just, hey, what about this? Does this help? And then he told me the cool story that Mr. Cavell Anderson, who said that VeVe never gave him anything, was the second person to get those things. So he lied. I got you, Cavell. But yeah, he's like, I wanted to give you something to know, something that is super important to me that not many people have, and I was one of them, because you made a difference for me. Like that's what I mean. Like it didn't cost anything. It was just reaching out and, hey, why do you want to do this? And maybe we can figure out some other way to get around it, Like it didn't cost me anything.
Yeah. A good story. I like stories like that. With that Sandra Bullock one. I feel like I would want, and I do want to be like I sometimes I just, like, even yesterday with the girlfriend, I was able to talk to her a little bit during the day. She called me a few times, and then at night I was like, hey, sorry, like I was in meeting after meeting after meeting, and I've seen people online say like, hey, like if they don't get back to you, like I'm just talking about friends, like if they don't get back to you in like 2 days, you're not a priority in their life. Now I know there's people that they have like depression and anxiety, and I guess it's called like spoon theory, where you get like a certain amount of spoons a day, and you have to, get up out of bed and wash your face, make your bed, and you have to, go to work, you have to do laundry, like, and all these things cost like spoons. And some people apparently get very few spoons. I have an unlimited amount of spoons where I can, my last spoon is when I'm about to like fall asleep, like while driving. Like, okay, I need to stop. So I think I'm pretty lucky with that. But I understand if like you've already used your spoons, maybe you don't want to get to the text messages because it's just too much. I don't understand it, but I can kind of understand it from afar. I think sometimes people don't get, and I'm not saying that you don't get it, but just sometimes that the amount of text messages or Twitter DMs or Facebook, I don't even check Facebook or Instagram messages anymore. I feel bad because VeVe Magic sends me all these reels from like Instagram.
Copy that.
And I just don't have time. And I know that 90, maybe not that much, but the majority of people probably think that like, oh, he doesn't care about me. And I sometimes I just don't get the messages. Like sometimes a new text that takes me like hours to get back is not because like, and I know I don't need to say that to you. I know you know, but again, I would love to be what you were for Johnny Dunn. I would love to be that for so many people, but that would take a lot out of my day that I just don't have. And I would love to do that for a bunch of people, a couple of which I know probably need it. And it's like, okay, well, what do I sacrifice? I mean, yeah, sleep, sure. You could always sleep a little less. I guess that's the price of business and the price of trying to like, you have to sacrifice those. And yeah, it's rough times. So,
this is the thing is I obviously I don't have 20 million followers. I'm pretty low key in the community. Yeah, I'm pretty low key, but this is what I know. You should have certain people, no matter how busy you are, you get back to. Because like it's just certain people. You can't, like, it's the ultimate show of respect. Now, I don't mean you're in a meeting, you say, we stop here, that's not what I mean. But you know what I mean. Like, you're a woman now. Super important part of your life. I can see the total perspective of your life is already shifting. Like, there's no excuse not to get back to her on time. Because that's the ultimate show of respect. Like even when I would work on cars and Lori would text me, like I might not get it that second because I'm under something doing, but as soon as I was clear, I go back, I text, I call, whatever. Like that's the ultimate show of respect. You should never be too busy for certain people. And like, no, I totally get it. You know, you got meetings here, there. You get back to me when you get back to me. I just send you random stuff like, hey, this is what I see in the charts today. You know, just whatever. You get back to me, great. You know, great. I send it the next day. You know.
Yeah.
But there's certain people that, you know, they deserve that respect. You know, and no, you can't be that for everybody. It's impossible, especially where you are. It's just impossible. But like, if people have your number, you care enough about them to have your number. And I'm not talking business people either. I'm talking, like, I have your number. Like, you know what I mean? Like you should have, like, there's a level of respect that comes with that number, you know? And like, so I'm very anal about that, about getting back to people. But that doesn't mean I work midnight sometimes and I'm sleeping during the day and people don't understand that. And I'm not going to text you at 2 a.m. to say, hey, guess what? Are you still up? I got you. You know what I mean?
I will text at 3 a.m.
but like, now don't get me wrong. If I see that you just posted something on X 3 minutes ago, then I'll respond or something. But you know what I mean? Like your woman, it sounds like she is now numero uno in the priority list, which is where she should be. If it's truly, like, that's where people get it. Like I'm at work and I hear people like, oh, my old ball and chain. Like, I don't know if that's just for effect, because it might be, and they might really love them, but they might not be. And it's strange to me, because it's just, I never, like, you shouldn't have that opinion about someone you truly care about. You can say it and be joking and then have the utmost respect for that person. But like, there's just, it's the ultimate show of respect when you always get back to someone, even if you're busy.
Yeah. I think also when, like, I don't know if you really and again, if that's your relationship where you joke with your significant other, by all means, but I think, like, I don't know, in public, even if I had an issue with any woman that I'm dating, I don't think I would say that, like, publicly. I don't think I would ever say, like, oh, they all ball and chain, because that brings her down. And then what are people supposed to think of you if you're with someone that you don't respect? Like, what is that? So I would never say anything bad about her in public, even if there was something bad to say, which there's not. But yeah, I should, and this is what, like, kills me. Like, she shows up so perfect, so soft and caring and loving, and it's just like, man, I was not expecting this. Like, I just wasn't. I was like, so I was like, okay, now we have to shift things around. And I thought crypto, like, I want to, like, do a lot more things with her than just bring her to New York, Orlando, you know, like, wherever, like in Arizona, we were talking about, like, I want to go, like, first class to Japan. I want to go to first class, like, Australia. And then it's like, hey, we're gonna have to wait for crypto to hit. This might take several more months, or for one of these companies to sell, you know. So,
but like, that's, the one thing I've figured out in life was relationships, and people make it always so hard. If you focus on their needs, they'll focus on yours, and you'll both get exactly what you need, and the other person will provide it, and it just creates a huge bond. Like, most people will be like I listen to it, and, like, complaining is like, it's cancer. Like, oh, she didn't get me my birthday present, and, like, just the dumbest stuff that doesn't even matter. You know, but like I said, like, if you concentrate, like, I know she likes this coffee, and I'll bring it to her every Wednesday. And I know she likes this flower, and I'll just pick up her. She likes yellow roses, so every other day I bring one yellow rose. It costs me $2 and 5 minutes of my time. Those are the things, like, when you have that, it builds such a base that literally nothing can shake you, because it doesn't matter. And people get wrapped up with the like, he didn't do the dishes. Who really cares about the dishes? It takes 2 minutes to throw them in a dishwasher. Like, who cares? Like, why would you fight over that? But I watch it happen all the time. You know, because people, they don't prioritize what's important. It's always about what they didn't get instead of what they have. And like, I was lucky enough for that. Like, I had someone that would do anything for me because I would do anything for her.
Yeah.
You know, but people are self-centered, and it's like, she doesn't do this for me, and she didn't want me to be out with my buddies for 2 days in a row. You shouldn't want to be out with your buddies for 2 days in a row. You know, but you shouldn't.
You shouldn't. Like, sometimes, like, you can't go on a camping trip. I think that could be, you know, like I wouldn't, because I like my technology. I like being in a soft pit.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking, you go to the bar and you just ghost her. And
oh yeah, no, that's shitty. That's shitty. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I watch people do that shit all the time, and they get mad. Like, I just went without my buddies and shit. Because, like,
yeah, that's shitty. Shouldn't do that.
You know, it's just, you're not giving her the respect, so therefore you really don't care. So therefore, why should she? And then you're just wasting time.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think it just has to do with like standards, and a lot of, I mean, I know it definitely changed. Like, have you seen Cobra Kai?
I haven't. I've seen like up to season 4. I don't think I've seen
okay. So in one of the seasons, I think it's one of the seasons that you've seen, Johnny is talking to, I think, Miguel or Robbie about like girls. Like, yeah, back in the day, you accidentally elbow a girl, you spill a drink, like, oh, sorry about that, ma'am. Can I, you know, let me buy you another one. And that was it. And now, I kind of feel bad for. Well, I don't, because I don't know, like, you know, women, like, they choose the bear, they go like whatever, and but I feel like it's men's unwillingness to learn. Like, okay, yeah, this is what they say they want, but what do they actually respond to? And, you know, that's how you open up your options there. And a lot of guys, especially young men, you know, if you're a 22-year-old girl, would you go out with like a broke 20-year-old, or would you go out with like a got his shit together 27-year-old? You know, they'd probably go a bit older for someone that, you know, has a bit more. And I feel like a lot of like the younger men like don't really recognize that, and a lot of them, they just like kind of hate women for it. They're like, oh yeah, they only like, you know, 6-foot guys, blue eyes, in finance, and that you have to be a Chad. And it's like, no, you just have to be different. And like, they're different in that way because they're in the 1%. But I've seen women also date like rock stars that are like broke. Why? Just because they're different. They're like, you know, they're trying something. There's a lot of potential in that. I just see a lot of young men just like waste their potential, and they just choose to blame other people, in particular the woman. And instead of changing to what the woman wants or needs, they just blame themselves. And like, and again, I've done very well the last 20 years, but if I was young now, I'd definitely be killing it now. If I was 20 years old now, I don't know. I just feel like, just get strong. And I don't know, like, I don't, like how's dating changed? I mean, I know you're with Lori for a while. What age were you when you started dating Lori? And then how did it change, like from when you were in college to that point?
I mean, I met Lori at, it was 5.5 years, so 42 and a half.
Okay.
I was always a quality guy, not a quantity guy in high school. My thing was, if I was afraid to go, this is the mother of my child, that there was no. And I went to Panama City, Florida, like that was my junior college I went to play baseball. Like, that was back when MTV was there and Limp Bizkit was playing in the ocean or the golf. Like, I had every opportunity. I just was a quality guy.
Yeah.
But it's really weird though, because the whole women say they want something, but they really don't, is true until whenever that flips. I don't know when it flips. It's different for every woman. But there's plenty of people that they went out with me because I had long hair and I had a Trans Am and I looked like the bad boy. And then they found out that I'm straight as an arrow, you know, and they're like, oh, well, you're different. You're nice.
Yeah.
So there was plenty of that, you know. Like, it was, like I said, I mean, how has it changed though? God, we would go out to like Perkins every day till
Where?
like morning. Perkins was a 24-hour restaurant. It was just like it had pancakes, it had everything, you know, it was like an IHOP.
Nice.
And like we would talk to everybody, anybody for hours, and and now it's like, oh, I gave them my whatever it is. I don't even know the streaming because I'm getting old. But like they don't talk. Like I think that it's such a lost art. Like
Yeah.
Like and like I don't know, like, because I knew exactly who I wanted to marry. I mean, I didn't know who they were, but I knew exactly who. Like, and I didn't settle. Like, because most of my friends got divorced because I'm 27, the clock's ticking. I need to have kids. I need to have the house. I need to have the picket fence. I need to have the dog. And all them people, they got all that, and I was single. And it was because I never met who I was supposed to meet until I met Lori, you know? And it was so easy, Randy. I mean, we went through COVID and remodeling a house and everything else, and it was easy. Even if the surroundings were hard, together we could do anything. Nothing, it didn't matter. Like, I could be like, babe, I lost my job because I was stupid and I popped off. And you know what she would say? We'll figure it out. We'll get you something tomorrow. Because it was just utmost symbiosis or whatever you want, man. And when you have that, you have everything. You know, like that's what people don't get. Like, and all it was is putting the other person first.
When I was on my crusade to find a permanent bay, it was Utah, it was Florida, it was not Texas, it was Arizona, it was Vegas, and then the bay comes into my life. I was like, oh, this is different. Oh,
different.
Yeah. So you know when it's different, and it's like I haven't seen like it's that type of connection and love that you just. I mean, you're lucky if you get it once in your life, but very, very rarely in your life. I think part of what makes it, you know, you said you were a quality guy, and I 100% respect that. That is where you and I differ a little bit. I was definitely a quantity guy, but through that, I learned that the connections, like the real connections that you get with the opposite sex in that intimate way, is exceedingly rare. Like it's maybe 1 to 2%. Like I could not even going out on dates, but going out and like not even just being intimate, but getting to that point and then realizing, okay, we have more in common than just the physical connection. Because you could have a physical connection, not really have, you know, much of a connection anywhere else. But to get to that level where you're like a lot of the same values, a lot of the same morals, and then just being super chill and being able to handle stress well. Like I've had some women that were fairly good in most areas, but they would freak the freak out if and it's like, oh, I'm not dealing with this the rest of my life. And I just so to find that, yeah, like that is you could go out and get to that point where you're intimate and you do like whatever with and go out on several dates, relationship with probably 200 people, and maybe one in those 200 gals would be close to what you had. And I think I told you, like I think I told you on like a text, like this is you could find a 1 in 500, or you could find that 1 in 10 million like you had. And I think for the 1 in 500 is not bad to stay with. That's probably a lot of people would be okay with that, or I. But yeah, it's a yeah.
I just, like I said, people focus on the wrong things in relationships. They really do. And most women just want to know you appreciate them. Dude, tell her, if you love her, tell her you love her. Like, now if it's the first date, hold on, like, don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, whoa. but you know what I mean? If you're, but why waste it? Like, why? Like, I just tell her once. Why? Like, what does that? How does that help? Like, it doesn't. Like, if you know she likes a certain coffee and you know you called her and she's having a bad day, it takes you 5 minutes to stop and give her that coffee. Like, that's the thing that matters. Like, it's not the big things. It's not, I gave her this diamond ring and this necklace. Lori didn't care about none of that shit, man. She didn't care about any of it. She cared that I knew what she liked, and or I'd pick up something from the store that she didn't have to ask with, but I could just tell she wanted, like, because we had that connection.
Yeah.
You know, and like, I'm telling you what, the truth is, like, one of the best pieces of advice I can give you guys: don't fight over stupid shit. And the easiest way to stop a fight is say something like off the wall. Like, and what we used to do was, we, like, if we were like starting to get like quibble over something, we would be like, I swear to God, if you don't stop, I'm gonna take my pants down and I'm gonna shove my, like, we would do shit like that, and it stops a fight, because if someone says that to you, you're no longer mad. Like, you just laugh. You're like, but it works. Like, it's crazy. Like, because everyone knows that point where they're like, I need to stop or it's full blow. And if you just use the whole, like, she's like, I swear to God, I'm gonna throw you down and I'm gonna sit on your face if you don't shut the fuck. Like, what? Are you mad now? No, you laugh. Like, and like that's some of the best advice I can give you, is find a way to diffuse the situation. You know, that was our way. Like, that's what we did. You know, because
we haven't had a fight yet, so I don't know how that would go. And I think that's a good tell. Not that I'm gonna. Well, when I was younger, I'd pick a fight, just have makeup sex, right? But now, like, I'm curious, because what I've known is, like, how you resolve conflict, I think, really tells a lot. Like, there's some people where what they do is they just kind of like be mad for a minute, and then they don't apologize. They just, like, kind of forget it and move on. And okay, if that's what works, that's what works. Forget it, move on, you know, whatever. But I've had really a lot of success with people just like, sorry, like, yeah, I'm sorry. And then, like, just as long as the resolution of the conflict is good, I think that the conflict of like, whatever the conflict is, it's okay. And I think it's especially good to do that around kids, because then they say, oh, you can have this conflict, but the resolution, as long as that's good. So I'm curious to see how she does handle that, because we haven't had a fight yet. So
that's great. Like, and the truth is, like, I think maybe, and I'm probably being generous, you probably had 4 actual fights in 5.5 years. And like, but we were smart. This is one lesson I learned: always apologize, even if you think you're right. It doesn't matter. What does it matter? Apologize, because you get the cuddle. Why would you, like, it's, you only punish yourself by not apologizing. And is being right worth that?
yeah.
Was it?
Oh, no, I'd much rather apologize, and even if you're wrong, but then it you know, rolls out. Like, what's the conflict end?
Like I said, I just, when I was young, I always wanted to be right. Like, and then as you get older, you realize that is not the most important thing in life.
No. I think I told Max one day, it was like, picture you're a store and girls are like the customer, and the customers are always right. And if you make it so that they're not right, they'll take their business elsewhere. And just 4 little words: you're right, I'm sorry. It's like a cheat code. It's like yeah.
You know, like I said, and I don't know. I just, when you get to a certain age, it doesn't matter. Like,
No.
like it doesn't matter. You don't care. Like Max's age, yeah, I'll fight my battles, but now it didn't matter. You know.
No. That was Max, by the way.
he seems okay, honestly. He's doing jiu-jitsu, which is good. And it's so funny. He's doing all these things that I told him he needs to do like 3-4 years in a row. And now it's his idea, and it's which whatever. I don't care. God bless him. He's a good kid. Like I said.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like I said, I
think that's what I was.
What's that?
What was that?
We were both doing the same thing. I tell him, I'm like, Max, I say, my job is to raise a good man. Like I said, and I said that has many meanings, but don't get caught up in things that don't matter. You know, don't die on, like, I've watched people die on hills in life that are so stupid. Like, they're just stupid. But for whatever reason, that's the flag they plant, and they're like, just, I don't know.
I've seen people pontificate on those, like you said, on the hills. Like, dude, like this is where you're planting your flat. Like, this is where you make your last stand.
It's stupid.
I think that's what I really thoroughly enjoyed about your family as well. Like, I could talk with you and Lori about anything VeVe, anything finance, anything old school, and then me and Max talking about like Sensei Ledoux or anime or Pokemon. Like, just like, yeah, like I don't know. I think just at that age that I am, like, can get along with teens and get along with the elderly. You're like 10 years old.
It is what it is, man.
You're 48?
48. Yeah. Max is like I said, I'm gonna have to get in shape here again soon because he wants me to go to jiu-jitsu with him. I'm like, why would you want me to come and beat you up? Because, you know, of course you gotta talk trash, you know. But like I'm glad. Like, look, he's 18, he's dealing with a lot, and he's got a lot of anger, whether he wants to admit it or not. And that's a great outlet. It's a pause. Be constructive, not destructive. You know what I mean? That's a great outlet.
You ever see the movie Never Back Down?
Oh, I love it. We just watched it, Matt. I showed it to him maybe 2 weeks ago. I love that movie.
Yeah, same. I haven't seen it in years, but I still remember the line, like, Jake Tyler's mom doesn't want him fighting, and she goes to like confront like the gym owner,
Roca.
And yeah, fucking love that dude too. And says like, you know, my boy's very angry. And he says, a lot of young men come here when they're angry, but they're a lot less angry when they walk out than they are when they walk in. I was like, every doting mother needs to hear that. Like, and fathers don't need to hear that because they know, like, they would know what it's like to be a young man. But yeah, great line.
I mean, like, you know, it's big that he's doing that. Like I said, and he needs constructive, and it's something that, like I said, he's been going like 5 days a week. Like, he seems to really like it. And like I said, Max, I'm like, don't get, like, look, you lose every day until one day you don't.
Yeah.
So don't let it bother you. And don't let like I said, because it's just the way it is. Like, when you first start, that's what people don't realize. If you're a 2 in jiu-jitsu, you might as well be a 20 compared to somebody that's a 0.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, and once you'll close that gap one day, and the next thing you'll be like, oh, I got it. This is easy, you know? And he used to quit everything, and I'm hoping he just sticks with this, because it's, like I said, I did martial arts for a long time, and I was an angry kid, and it matters. It changes everything when you figure out how to deal with certain things constructively and not destructively.
Yeah, that's my I'm still pretty good with that. Work out, go to the gym, you know, hit the heavy bag. Like, but every now and then, you ever see the Punisher series, like the Netflix one?
I did not watch the new one with the Daredevil, but the original 1 and 2 seasons, right? They were amazing.
Yeah, on Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the first one, the one with Micro, where he goes in and he like kind of befriends the dude's like wife just to like make sure that nobody like kills her. And then like he has camera set up in there, and he sees that Punisher didn't do anything wrong. Like the wife like kisses him, and then because she thinks the husband's dead, and he goes back, and then the dude's like drinking, like he's getting smashed, and then he says, "This is how you're dealing with it," and he's like, "Yep, this is how I'm dealing with it." Every now and then, for a problem, I deal with it the wrong way, and I just get schnockered. And I was like, "This is how I'm dealing with it. This is." And then, you know, as long as 90% of the way I deal with stuff is positive, I feel like every now and then I'm allowed to get smacked. But
no, like I said, I mean, I grew up. Like I said, I can't tell you. I grew up on Kickboxer, Bloodsport. I grew up on all like those were my movies. And like I said, I mean, my family, we were decent, but we didn't have a lot of money, so I didn't have money for karate. And so what I ended up doing was I bought a 4-headed VCR, and I would take those movies with those training things, and I would actually just slow-mo them and watch stuff like, and I tell you what, I taught myself, and then I finally had money to start training, and you could learn a lot from movies. I mean, I know there's some bullshit punches, but the actual technique when they're training, it's very useful. Like, you know, so I'm glad because, like I said, he got a lot right now.
no,
You know,
love Mr. MC1.
MC1.
Thanks for coming in. We had he's a good dude. He's more than got. I think he's gotten 1.5 to 2x return on my channel so far. So he's a happy camper. He's actually.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, actually, when the company, we'll head off in a little bit. Talk about that. He's going to be, I think, very happy later this year. He'll have a lot of, yeah.
Like I said, Mr. MC1 has done so much. Like, people maybe don't know it now because we were in such a lull, but he has done so much for the people here, you know. I can't, God, I still remember the first party in you know, New York City, and crazy, you know. Yeah. And it, like I said, he's happy to do it. That's the, you know, it's crazy.
He actually just made a post, Ode to Batman 100 on VeVe Official in memory of Silicon Secure. In the neon dawn of the VeVeverse, when pixels first began to sing, there emerged a silent sentinel, Batman black and white. Not bound to ink and paper, but birthed as code and light. This is going to be a poem, Mr. MC1. Number 100, a figure carved in digital breath, a sculpted dream of the cover of Batman number 423, echoing the gritty grandeur of McFarlane's hand and form and pose. The OMI homies christened him Todd, a simple name for such mythic weight, the first heartbeat in VeVe's Grand Gallery, the inaugural drop of licensed DC cast into the blockchain sea. This is a little bit of a poem. A first appearance tag shimmering like a lighthouse in the NFT tide. 7,500 souls were forged, rarity woven amidst an ocean of collectors, a treasure that once slept on screens unclaimed, now whispered about in collectors' circles like an oracle secret. To some, he was simply the foundation, the place where Batman shed the page and became eternal. To others, a relic of moment when fandom and tech touched, when a Cape Crusader transcended paper and stood in the new digital sun. Owning Todd is not just holding a token, it's clutching the first beat of a new kind of heart, a blend of comic, spirit, blockchain alchemy, and the wishful longing of collectors everywhere. That ineffable spark we chase across every universe, celebrating Todd, Batman 100 first drop on VeVe, and a cherished grail that brings all OGs together. That was very nice, Mr. MC1.
You know, it's funny because like the early people, they would trade. They wanted Nightshade, Nightwing.
Yeah.
And they would throw Todds in to sweeten the deal like they were nothing. Like they were just like, you know how like you buy a card like a Pokemon card from eBay, and it's an expensive card, and they'll throw like, you know, like just like little, here's bonus, thank you for your purchase. They would throw Todds in like that. It's crazy.
Going back to the high risk lending, there would be like $100,000 deals on the table where it would be so hard to close them. Be like, okay, listen, I'll do this for you. I'll throw in, you know, a free month of credit repair, which is like $200. Like, I don't know. I was like, okay, I'll do this for you and 3 months of credit repair. And if you want the kitchen sink, I'll throw that in too. Like just something that costs like $600, which to us really only costs a couple hundred.
Right.
And it gets $100,000 deal. Like, yeah, I love sweeteners that sweeten the pot because you get these massive deal done for like very little money. It's insane.
That's Todd was a sweetener. That's the funny thing about Todd's.
I think when people were doing the gem stuff, people would get tipped in Todd.
Yeah.
Someone bought space on my freezer and they paid me in Nightwing and something else. I was like, okay, that's cool. So everyone go to Mr. MC1's post and reply with pictures of Todd Batman. We love it. I know, guys, that'll be it for us today. Anything you want to say before we talk on camera, but the stream ends and it'll be private?
You know, guys, just, hey, it's the weekend. Enjoy. If you like football, watch it. You know, takes time. Spend it with the people you love. Tomorrow's not promised to anyone. And, you know, see you here again sometime. So,
hell yeah. All right. Appreciate it. Everyone comment, like, subscribe, and everyone